Good morning. My name is Anthony Garrison. I'm a Canadian citizen. I'm here in Hue with my wife. I'm an aviation maintenance technician and a volunteer ground instructor with Civil Aviation Training Center in Bangkok. And I'm trying to start a new aviation maintenance training program here in Hue. And I really love Hue. It's a great city, and I really enjoy learning more about Vietnam and about President Ho Chí Minh. Since I was 15, I was reading a lot of history books that were available in the States at the time, and was learning about Ho Chí Minh and about the history of Vietnam. And it is quite inspirational that Ho Chí Minh, having only completed formal education to the age of 17, was able to basically become self-educated as he traveled for 30 years to the various countries that he went to visit, and was able to become a great president and a great leader and liberate Vietnam from the French, and also to liberate Vietnam from the Japanese in 1945. And to be able to successfully reunite the country in 1975. Would have been great if Uncle Ho was here to be able to see the current united Vietnam reunified again, but unfortunately passed away 5.5 years before the end of the war. There were not very many good books about the life of Ho Chí Minh in English, but there is a book by William Duker called Ho Chí Minh: A Life. I've just ordered a copy of it at 700 pages, and I'll be looking forward to reading that. The reason I selected that book to read is because William Duker said that he basically wrote the book over a 25-year period as sort of just a personal quest to get to know Uncle Ho. And he said it was like a mystery novel when you didn't know what the ending was. So I kind of like the fact that he researched the book with an impartiality, and he didn't have a final. So when I'm in Hue, it's great to come to visit all of the places where Uncle Ho lived and studied when he was younger. The two historic houses are wonderful. It's great that these have been preserved, and it's very fortunate that before he passed away, he actually told people some of the places where he lived when he grew up. Otherwise, with the passage of so much time between 1908 and 1968, perhaps nobody would have realized the significance of these historic houses. And the two monument houses are really wonderful. They're historic buildings for two reasons. Number one, Ho Chí Minh lived there as a child, and then also for the fact that they are structures that were around here in Hue in the late 1800s. So it's always great to be able to visit these places. It's very relaxing. It's always a very nice experience.
Là ngôi nhà di tích Mái Tóc Loan này nó gắn tuổi thơ của gia đình của bác từ Nghệ An vào Huế trong thời gian là 6 năm, và đặc biệt đó là trong hai giai đoạn nó rất là quan trọng để hình thành nên về những cách tư tưởng và đạo đức, cũng như là về ý chí ra đi tìm đường của nước trên mảnh đất Huế này. Huế là quê hương thứ hai, đó là niềm tự hào của nhân dân Huế. Bác Hồ của chúng ta được trưởng thành trong một ngôi nhà đầy trí thức nho giáo, và được dạy dỗ từ người cha và người mẹ, và đặc biệt là ý chí về cái tình yêu quê hương đất nước nó rất quan trọng, và điều đó bác đã hy sinh tất cả cuộc đời của mình để dành cho độc lập cho chúng ta ngày hôm nay. Hy vọng là anh bạn của mình là anh Anthony hiểu hơn về Huế và cũng như địa điểm di tích mà bác Hồ sống gắn bó với cuộc sống của bác ở Huế như thế nào.
The houses are really good too because they're furnished with period pieces of furniture from that time, and some of the pieces were pieces that are known to have been, been there when President Ho Chi Minh was alive and living here in Hue. And the simplicity of the construction, it's really quite nice, and it's good to be able to stay in a place like that where it's great that the houses are there for the young people of Vietnam and from other countries, that they can come to visit and see these places. Sometimes when I see the groups of young students come through, it's really nice to be able to see them enjoying the historic sites, and to be able to get photos to show their family that they were there, and to be able to appreciate what life was like in the late 1800s and early 1900s in Hue. And I have been to the high school. It's a really wonderful place to visit. It's very beautiful. The buildings are very graceful. It's a peaceful and quiet place. All I know is that Uncle Ho was studying there, and then when he was the translator for the tax revolt, then the school was told by the French authorities that he had to be expelled. So then he had to leave Hue and then eventually get to Saigon and then leave the country. And I always enjoy spending time at the main Ho Chi Minh Museum because they always change exhibits on the ground floor. So it's always interesting to see the new exhibits when they come in and open up. Be able to look at some of the 12,000 documents that are in the archives there from the life of President Ho Chi Minh. So every time I visit the museum, I'm able to learn more about the life of President Ho Chi Minh. One of the most inspirational things about President Ho Chi Minh is that he valued education such that he got schooling until he was 17, but then from then forward he studied on his own, mastered many languages, was able to live in many different diverse places such as France, the United Kingdom, the Soviet Union, China. He's believed also to have been in the United States for a short period of time. That he was very humble, a very simple person, is what made him larger than life. That's what made him such a great leader, that he's able to connect with everybody in the country, at every socioeconomic level and every class and every trade. He could converse with anybody and connect with everybody in that kind of way, that he really is like an uncle to the country. So I have heard of Ho Chi Minh's moral style, and I know that in 1991 that this is a course that's put together for students to study when they're still young, in high school, I imagine. Young people should learn that it's better to be humble in life, and that gives you greater strength and greater influence in dealing with other people. Certainly, President Ho was a very humble, very simple person in how he conveyed himself to other people, very cultured. But humility and being compassionate, being able to make a contribution to your community, these are important things that students should learn. So I do think the fact that President Ho had lived here when he was young and grew up here, and we have the historic houses, we have the museum. I think it definitely contributes to the fact that Hue is such a special place. And so I'm slowly teaching myself how to read Vietnamese, and I'm looking forward to being able to read books that were written in Vietnamese about President Ho Chi Minh and about the history of Hue. And I'm looking forward to learning more about the city that I call home.